Call this meeting to order. The regular council meeting for April 19th. Call it to order at 5:07. 6:07. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Any declaration of pecuniary interest? Having seen none, we will move to the public meeting. No public meeting. Getting out my favorite pen. Just bear with me. Announcements. Councillor announcements, starting with Councillor McLaughlin.
Well, a number of things. I guess the Lions Club are putting on a breakfast this Saturday. As well, there's a trivia sponsored by the St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church at the Legion on the 28th, if anybody is interested in that. There's also a spaghetti supper tomorrow night at the St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church here in Cobden. I also, and maybe this is when I'll bring this up, I got a call today from Gail Schultz, I think it is. Anyway, talking about Relay for Life in Beachburg, wondering if we would be interested in putting a team in. I told her that I would be interested. We need 3 to make a team. So if there's more people that are interested, I thought because we had former employee that was lost her battle with cancer, maybe that it would be a good idea that we do put a team together. So I will spearhead that if there's more, and I see that the mayor is willing as well. So we need, you can go by yourself too. She told me it didn't matter. So anybody interested? I think, and Councillor Rager, is that June the 21st? Do you remember? I know it's in June.
I think it's June 16th.
16th? Okay. But anyway, she called today, and I told her I would try and get a team together. So.
Councillor Olmsted, do you have any announcements? Councillor Jackson. This isn't exactly an announcement, but I was made aware of the fact that the international competition knife throwing is held in Mixburg, which is quite local, every year for the last, I believe, was 5 years. So I just want to bring that forward, and so we'll be on, that'll be on our radar for things to see. Don't laugh, it might be handy. You know, if you need to go in a competition at the last second, knife throwing sounds good. So, and I don't have any other. Councillor Rager, Councillor Mackay. Okay, there we go. So we'll move on to 6.1. The logo development project underway, and I would ask Jennifer Madison to come. Pardon me? Oh. Well, I can hardly pronounce my own name, so don't worry about that. Jennifer Madigan, and she's going to give us an update on the logo.
Okay. All right, hopefully everyone can hear me. Well, first off, I'll give you a quick explanation as to who I am and who my company is. So I work with a company called Syntax Strategic, and we are a public affairs, media affairs communications company based out of CARP. We've been operating for about 7 years, and our expertise and experience is mostly on the public affairs, media relations, and stakeholder relations side of things. However, we recently hired a wonderful design team, very talented team, and what we're looking to do is build up that side of our company as well. So when we saw your region had put out an RFP for the new website, we thought we would reach out and see if we could offer our services for free to redesign the logo and work with our team for that. So we chatted with a group here at the region, and we put together a few different designs. We had quite a range. We've narrowed it down to the 5 I'll present tonight, and we're looking to narrow it down to 2 more and then put it out to the public for a vote as well. So, and for me, I'm a former journalist, 14 years, just started on this side of things, and I worked in Pembroke with CHRO for about 4 years. So this is my old stomping ground, and it's nice to be back. I remember the drive well. Okay, so pull up option number 1. So obviously, Whitewater region, we want to include the water. The waves have been drawn by our designer. If anyone, after we select the logo, wants a slight change, that we can do that. The green and the yellow also reflect the agriculture in the area and the green space and the communities. Trying to look at the communities all coming together. So that's option 1. You'll see these are all somewhat similar, a few minor changes on each of them. So this is option 2. And the key with all of these, I know the change from the previous logo is that you wanted to have something simple but stylistic. So that's what we are going for with all of these. Here's option 3. Again, so we wanted to reflect the fields and the green space in that one. Option 4. And then we had talked about how often people use just the WWR to represent the region, so we came up with option 5, where it has the name and the short form. But what we can do with the other options is if you like them but you want to have the WWR option, we can create an alternative as well. So those are the 5, and now we can look to narrow them down.
Thanks, Jennifer, and thanks to your firm for these pro bono services. We appreciate it. The old logo will still, I just want to reiterate, will still remain our crest. It's quite lovely, has a lot of meaning for a lot of people, and we will continue to use it for that purpose. This is also about driving home Whitewater in terms of name recognition, but also region, which is all of us coming together as one municipality. The chair of corporate services, Councillor Jackson, was involved in some early consultation with the group, as well as Mayor Johnson. So the goal would be to select 2 and then to do a survey monkey to get an online poll to get some feedback from the public on one that would work, and then we would start by using it on the new website. Would be the goal. But I just want to reiterate that the crest is not going anywhere. We're still going to be utilizing it, and I'll be coming forward with a communication, social media strategy policy in the 3rd quarter on how all these fit together with our new website. I don't know if there's any, Mr. Mayor, if there's any feedback from the members on preferences or early comments.
I don't have at this point, but should we be picking the 2 tonight?
That's what we're hoping for,
yes.
So we can get them out to the public and get a sense.
Councillor Jackson, then Councillor McLaughlin.
So what's on our iPad is a different sort of color in the blue, and I prefer this blue better. I don't know if you saw the blue that we have. It's more like a turquoise. I prefer those blues more so. Anyways, but yeah, and thank you so much. I mean, we certainly don't get pro bono work very often, and when we do, we jump at it. So it's very much appreciated, and you've done a great job with all of the logos that were presented, and certainly these were my top picks, and I'm anxious to see what the rest of council think. Thank you.
No problem.
We could proceed to choose 2. You have to speak first, and then we'll come up with something, I think.
No, I was about to give my preferences, so
Oh, okay.
whenever you're ready.
Well, then why don't we just start with, Councillor McLaughlin, and you give us two?
I looked at them and I thought 4, and then I went, no, I like 1 and 2. I like 2 because it has region in bold. I like 1 because I like the font or the white water. So those would be my 2 preferences.
Councillor Olmsted. Okay, Councillor Jackson.
I prefer 3 or 4.
I prefer 1 and 5. Councillor Regier.
And I'm between 1 and 4, but 4, my main preference.
Councillor Mackay? You which? Well, don't pick it. Don't pick it then, Councillor Mackay. 1 and 3. Councillor Olmsted. Number 2. Yeah, it's a little. I like the fonts or the writing on number 1 myself. But anyway, all right. What did we come up with?
So, item number 1 has, 4 picks, so that's definitely 1. I would just point out, 2 only has 2. 4 and 3 are very similar, 2 for each, so I wondered if you prefer, Councillor Jackson and, Councillor Mackay, would you be okay with 4 instead of 3?
Well, actually, I mean, I wouldn't mind 2 if that word region was not in black bold and just in black lettering only.
Below.
Yeah. That's the only thing that I know region stands out, but when it transfers on to documentation, I don't know how well it's going to hold up, the black. But I do like that logo. Other than that, Councillor
Regier and Councillor Mackay. Are you shifting your votes to 2 as well? Or do you want, I think 2 would be easier to go to the public with, honestly, than 3, so, not the number 2. Yes.
I would go with 2, but I agree with Councillor Jackson. I do not like that black bold or that black bar. I don't like the look of that.
Region centered,
Region
just changed
centered.
from white to black.
Correct.
That's easy to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the colors were noted, and then region for number 2, so 1 and 2 it is. Jennifer, did you want to show the alternatives to 1? The
Yes.
font for 1 is copyrighted, so what we can do is to avoid that specific font, use other cursive forms that might be
Yeah.
close.
With option 1, you can buy the license. It's $40, and then you have free commercial. Then you have commercial use for eternity. You get the license, and that's it. But when we discovered that was a copyrighted font, she came up with 2 similar fonts. These fonts don't need a license. And I don't know if I'm going to pull up. I'm just going to pull up 1 again.
The only issue that I have with written font is that so many people have gone away from a written word, the cursive words, and I don't even know if they teach cursive writing anymore in school. Yeah, so the kids aren't going to be able to read this because they're not going to know what that is. That's my only concern. That's what I did. No cursive at all. Unfortunately, it is going to the wayside. Not my preference, but they're just not gonna. They're not being taught cursive writing anymore. Exactly.
My apologies. Any preferences on the cursive, or you like the look of the one that's presented for $40? Going. So we'll keep it as presented then, Jennifer?
Okay.
So just to summarize, we will go to the public on 1 and 2, modify the colors to be less turquoise-y, and modify the region, that block lettering under Whitewater for number 2, with less blocks, but it would be centered below Whitewater.
Does council want to keep the cursive? Is that what I don't want to keep the cursive.
You know, it doesn't matter to me.
Like we could,
We're down to choosing one right now.
But you had 4. We had 4 that selected it. So Councillors Mackay and McLaughlin, the mayor, and Kathy, I had you as originally with 1.
I would go back to 2 and 4.
2 and 4.
As far as I'm concerned, I could go to the block letters on 1. That would be fine with me. So if that's what to Councillor Jackson, and I understand what she's saying, so if we could change it just to block letters, because I do kind of like the design of it.
I also cannot stand the,
but then it's the same
black.
as number 2. Because if we take out the black bold and change the white lettering to just black lettering, and change the cursive to block lettering, then you're at number 2, except for the line.
Well, except for the size of region.
Yeah.
And that's the part that
Yeah.
it kind of appeals to me.
one is centered and one is to the side, yeah.
So maybe what we'll do is we'll combine 1 and 2, and add and do that, and then 4. And what we'll do is we'll circulate it to email before we post it and get the public's opinion if that works for everybody.
Yeah, when we prepare the new version of 2, we'll give you a couple options in terms of the size of region and where the placement is.
That'd be
Okay.
great.
Very good.
That's always the way.
Yeah.
No worries. And once it's selected, we'll come up with a brand guideline for everything from signs to stationery, fonts that work well with it, colors that match, stuff like that. So.
Very good. Okay. Thank you very much, Jennifer. All right. We don't have a standing committee. Okay. So, that's me? I thought so.